Every year before Rath Yatra, something unusual happens in Puri. Jagannath, Balabhadra and Subhadra Devi disappear from public darshan for 15 days. The temple that is usually filled with sound, bells, queues, food and pilgrims enters a completely different mood. Devotees wait, but the murtis are not seen. And the reason devotees give is even more surprising. After Snana Yatra, the grand ceremonial bath, Jagannath is believed to fall sick. Now think about that for a moment. How can God fall sick? How can the one who protects millions need rest, medicine, food and care? But this question is exactly where the deeper meaning of Puri begins. Because in Puri, Jagannath is not treated like a distant god. He is treated like a living presence. He wakes up, bathes, eats, rests, falls sick, recovers, travels, and in special years, even receives a new body. So when devotees say Jagannath falls sick, it is not weakness, it is intimacy. It is a temple saying that God is not outside human life. God enters human life. To understand this, we have to begin with Snana Yatra. Snana Yatra happens on Jyeshta Purnima. On this day, Jagannath, Balabhadra and Subhadra Devi are brought out from the sanctum and placed on the Snana Mandap, the bathing platform. For many devotees, this itself is a rare and powerful moment because the murtis who are usually inside the sanctum are now seen in a different public form. Then the ceremonial bath happens. Traditionally, 108 pitchers of sanctified water are drawn from the Sunakua, the golden well, near the northern gate of the temple and poured over the murtis. This is not a small symbolic sprinkle, it is a full ceremonial bath. After this, Jagannath is dressed in Hati Besha, the elephant form. But by the end of Snana Yatra, the mood changes. The murtis are taken back inside. They do not return to regular public darshan. They enter Anasara. Anasara is a period when Jagannath remains away from public view. In the devotional understanding, this is a time when Jagannath is recovering after the ceremonial bath. And this is where Puri becomes deeply human. When someone in our own family is unwell, the house becomes quieter. We ask if they have eaten. We ask if medicine was given. We wait for them to recover. We do not disturb them again and again. We care for them. Puri takes this ordinary human emotion and places it at the center of divine worship. Usually, we go to temples asking God to take care of us. But during Anasara, the relationship is reversed. The devotee waits while Jagannath is being cared for. That is a very different kind of bhakti. During these 15 days, the longing becomes so strong that many devotees go to Alarnath temple in Brahmagiri, around 25 kilometers from Puri. Because Jagannath is not available for public darshan in Puri, devotees go to Alarnath for substitute darshan. This is such a beautiful detail. Jagannath's absence does not stop devotion, it redirects devotion. The longing becomes a journey. One temple becomes silent and another temple becomes crowded. One form is hidden and another form receives a waiting devotee. At the end of Anasara comes Nava Yauvana Darshan, also called Nava Yauvana Darshan in the Odia tradition. It is closely connected with Netrotsava, the festival of the eyes, when the eyes of the murtis are ritually restored before public darshan. Nava Yauvana Darshan means a vision of renewed youth. Jagannath does not simply reappear. He returns refreshed. After illness comes recovery. After seclusion comes darshan. After waiting comes the joy of seeing him again. And soon after this, Jagannath comes out for Rath Yatra. Now Rath Yatra begins to look different. It is not just a chariot festival, it is a public return of the god who was hidden. For 15 days, devotees could not see him. Now he comes out where everyone can see him. Not only those who can enter the temple, not only those who can stand near the sanctum, not only priests, kings or scholars. During Rath Yatra, Jagannath comes into the street. For a few days, the street becomes a sanctum, the crowd becomes a temple, the chariot becomes a moving temple, and the rope becomes a connection between human hands and divine movement. To understand how powerful this is, look at Jagannath's form. He does not look like the Krishna we usually imagine. There is no flute, no graceful standing posture, no visible hands, and no visible feet. The face is wide, the eyes are large, round, and unblinking. The body is wooden. The form is simple, strange, and overwhelming. Why does Jagannath look like this? There is a famous temple tradition connected to King Indradyumna and the divine carpenter. The king wanted the sacred form of God to be carved. A mysterious carpenter agreed but gave one condition. Nobody should open the door until the work was complete. Days passed. The sound of carving was heard from inside. Then suddenly the sound stopped. The king and queen became anxious. They opened the door before the work was finished. The carpenter disappeared and the murtis remained in the form we see today, without complete hands, without complete feet, with large eyes and a wooden body. This is a temple tradition, not modern history. But sacred traditions preserve meaning, and the meaning here is powerful. Jagannath has no visible hands, so who pulls his chariot? The devotees. Jagannath has no visible feet, so who takes him through the streets of Puri? The devotees. In many traditions, human beings ask God to carry them, but in Rath Yatra, human beings carry God. That is why the chariot rope is not just a rope, it is a relationship. Jagannath's missing hands become the hands of the devotees. His missing feet become the movement of the crowd. His large eyes become the gaze that includes everyone. This is not an incomplete God. This is a God who leaves space for human participation. And once we understand this, the 15 days of illness also make more sense. Jagannath is not just a murti receiving worship. He is a living member of a sacred community. The servitors care for him, the devotees wait for him, the king serves him, the people pull him, and the kitchen feeds him. If Jagannath can fall sick, then he must also recover. And a living God who recovers must be cared for. He must be served. He must be fed. That brings us to one of the most extraordinary parts of Puri, the kitchen. The temple kitchen is called Roshagara. Food is cooked in earthen pots. Firewood is used. Traditional rules are followed. The water is drawn from sacred wells inside the temple premises, traditionally known as Ganga and Jamuna. That is not ordinary cooking. It is seva. In many temples, devotees mainly remember the darshan. But in Puri, the food is central. Jagannath receives a food every day, and after the offering, that food becomes Mahaprasad. Mahaprasad is not just temple food, it becomes a sacred social force. In Ananda Bazaar, devotees receive and eat Mahaprasad. Families carry it home. For Odia families, Mahaprasad becomes part of life events, vows, journeys, and memory. People speak of many mysteries of the Puri kitchen. The earthen pots are stacked one above another. Temple tradition says that the pot on the top cooks first. The kitchen fire is believed to be continuous. The scale of cooking is enormous. But the deeper point is not only the mystery. The deeper point is relationship. Jagannath eats, and then Jagannath feeds everyone. If God is alive, food matters. If God is family, feeding matters. If the temple is a society, sharing matters. That is why Jagannath worship does not remain only in philosophy. It enters the stomach, it enters the street, it enters a family, it enters memory. The God who falls sick also feeds everyone. But there is an even deeper layer. Jagannath's body is made of wood. Most major temple murtis in India are made of stone or metal. Stone and metal suggest permanence, but wood is different. Wood ages, wood changes, changes. Wood can decay. Wood has to be cared for. And in special years, the wooden bodies of Jagannath, Balabhadra, Subhadra Devi and Sudarshana are renewed. This ritual is called Nabakalebara. Nava means new. Kalebara means body. So Nabakalebara means new body. It does not happen every year. It happens only in special years, usually after 12 or 19 years, when the calendar contains an extra Ashada month. The last Nabakalebara happened in 2015. It was a first Nabakalebara of the 21st century after a 19-year gap from 1996. The next one is expected around 2034 depending on the calendar. At the center of Nabakalebara is the deepest mystery of Puri, Brahma Padartha. During the ritual, something is transferred from the old body to the new body. That something is called Brahma Padartha. No one outside the ritual knows exactly what it is. Some traditions connect it to Krishna. Some call it the divine essence. Some understand it as sacred energy of presence. But the important point is this: the mystery is not a weakness in the tradition. The mystery is the center of the tradition. Jagannath's body changes. The Brahma continues. The wooden form is temporary. The presence is eternal. That is why we must be careful with language. To casually say God dies can sound disrespectful. The better way to understand it is this: Jagannath accepts a body. That body goes through a cycle. The body is renewed, but the Brahma remains. The form changes, but the presence continues. What the Gita teaches through words, Puri teaches through ritual. The body is temporary, the essence is eternal. And when the old wooden bodies are no longer used, they are not thrown away like objects. They are buried in Koli Vaikunta inside the temple complex. The Daitapati servitors observe mourning rituals as if a family member has passed away, because for them Jagannath is not only God, he is family. That is why Jagannath cannot be understood only as a theology. He has to be understood as relationship. He is God, he is king, he is child, he is patient, he is guest, he is family, he is traveler. He is the one who eats, rests, disappears, returns and renews himself. Now come back to Rath Yatra with all this in mind. Before Rath Yatra, Jagannath falls sick. He disappears from public view. He returns in renewed form. Then he leaves the temple and comes out to the people. He travels with Balabhadra and Subhadra Devi to Gundicha temple. Devotees pull the chariot ropes and the Gajapati king performs Chera Pahara, sweeping the chariot platform as a servant of Jagannath. That one image explains the power of Rath Yatra. The king sweeps the floor. The ruler becomes servant. Power bows before the divine. Usually devotees go to temple to see the God, but during Rath Yatra, God comes out to see the devotees. Usually the sanctum is a center. During Rath Yatra, the street becomes a center. Usually access is limited. During Rath Yatra, darshan expands. This is why Jagannath belongs to so many layers of Indian memory. He is Krishna, he is Vishnu, he is Purushottama, he is deeply Odia. He carries tribal memory, Vaishnava devotion, Shakta presence, royal ritual, temple discipline, folk intimacy and public participation together. If we reduce Jagannath to a temple mystery, we miss the point. If we reduce him to Rath Yatra alone, we miss the point. Jagannath is one of those forms where India's spiritual imagination became unusually inclusive. The wooden murti, the Daitapati servitors, the massive kitchen, the public chariot, the king sweeping the chariot, the god who falls sick, and the god who receives a new body. All of this belongs to one living system. So the next time someone says Jagannath falls sick for 15 days, do not hear it as a strange superstition. Hear it as one of India's deepest ritual ideas. The divine is not outside life. The divine enters life. When Jagannath is hidden Even during Anasara, devotees learn logging. When he returns in Nava Yauvana Darshan and Netrotsava, they learn renewal. When he comes out in Rath Yatra, they learn access. When they pull the chariot, they learn participation. When they eat Mahaprasad, they learn equality. When Nabakalebara happens, they learn that body changes but the essence continues. And that is why when the chariots move in Puri, millions are not just watching a festival. They are watching the return of a God who was hidden from them. A God with no visible hands, moved by human hands. A God with no visible feet, carried by human devotion. A God who falls sick so that human beings can understand how close the divine really is. Share this with someone who should know the deeper meaning of Rath Yatra. And if you want your children to grow up listening to stories from India's temples, download the Temple Girl Kids app at templegirl.com. Jai Jagannath.